Commander Zaxthor's third eye twitched as the proximity alarm shrieked across the bridge of the Imperial dreadnought Infinite Dominion. For 3,000 cycles, the Valerian Empire had ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, their fleet of biomechanical warships unmatched in firepower and technological sophistication. Nothing, absolutely nothing, entered Valerian space without permission. Until today. Report. Zaxthor's voice boomed, his crystalline exoskeleton shimmering with agitation. Sir, we're detecting a massive spatial anomaly directly ahead. Something just appeared. The sensor officer's tentacles trembled over her console. No warp signature, no dimensional rift, no quantum tunneling trace. It's as if the ship simply materialized from nothing. On the main view screen, the anomaly resolved into a vessel that made Zaxthor's 3 hearts skip a beat. It was primitive by Imperial standards, angular, brutish, covered in what appeared to be ablative armor plating. Yet something about its presence made his combat instincts scream danger. Identify, he commanded. Unknown configuration, sir. The hull composition includes iron, titanium. These are ancient materials. But the energy readings. The officer paused, her bioluminescent skin flickering with confusion. Sir, the power core is generating more energy than our entire battle group combined. Zaxthor leaned forward in his command throne. Open a channel. Standard Imperial greeting. The communications array pulsed, broadcasting in the 17 most common galactic languages. Unknown vessel, you have violated Valerian space. Identify yourself immediately or be destroyed. For a moment, only static answered. Then a voice crackled through, rough, organic, speaking in a language the translation matrix struggled to process. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UHSF Prometheus, representing the United Human Space Force. We come in peace, but we are prepared to defend ourselves. Humans. Zaxthor searched his memory banks. The species had been marked as extinct centuries ago, their homeworld quarantined after they'd nearly destroyed themselves with primitive nuclear weapons. The Empire had classified them as too dangerous and too stupid to survive. Clearly, the Empire had been wrong. Captain Chen, Zaxthor replied, his voice dripping with condescension, your species was declared extinct. How you survived is irrelevant. You will surrender your vessel for Imperial inspection, or we will take it by force. A pause. Then laughter, actual laughter, echoed through the channel. Commander, with all due respect, I don't think you understand your situation. We didn't come here by accident. We've been watching your empire for a very long time. Zaxthor's patience evaporated. Weapons, target that primitive scrap heap. Fire when. The Prometheus moved. One moment it hung in space like a sleeping predator. The next, it accelerated at speeds that should have liquefied any organic crew. The Imperial sensors barely registered the movement before the human ship unleashed hell. Brilliant lances of coherent light, not plasma, not particle beams, but something far more focused, sliced through the void. The first shots hit the Infinite Dominion's shields, which flickered and died instantly. Impossible. Those shields could withstand a supernova. Evasive maneuvers. Zaxthor roared, but the dreadnought was too massive, too slow. The human vessel danced around them like a fighter, despite being twice the size of an Imperial cruiser. More weapons fire erupted from the Prometheus, kinetic railguns that punched through armor like paper, missiles that somehow anticipated every defensive measure, and something else entirely. Directed electromagnetic pulses that shut down entire sections of the ship's bioneural network. They're targeting our living components, the tactical officer shrieked. How do they know our ship's anatomy? The answer hit Zaxthor like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just survived, they'd been studying. Learning. Preparing. Sir, 15 more signatures appearing across the sector, sensors reported, voice cracking with fear. Same configuration. We're surrounded. On the view screen, Human warships materialized in perfect formation, each one bristling with weapons that represented centuries of focused development. While the Valerian Empire had grown complacent in its dominance, humanity had evolved in the shadows, forging themselves in the crucible of their own near extinction. Captain Chen's voice returned, colder now. Commander Zax Thor, you will stand down. 300 years ago, your empire quarantined Earth and left us to die. You thought we were too primitive, too violent, too chaotic to deserve a place in the galaxy. Another volley from the Prometheus destroyed 2 Imperial escort ships in brilliant explosions. You were right about one thing, we are violent. We've spent our entire history perfecting the art of war. And while you've been using the same biotech for millennia, we've been innovating, adapting, surviving. We turned our greatest weakness into our greatest strength. Zax Thor watched his fleet crumble. Ships that had conquered 100 worlds were being systematically dismantled by vessels that looked like they'd been built in a scrapyard. But there was nothing primitive about their tactics, their weapons, or their resolve. What do you want? He finally asked, his voice barely a whisper. Change, Chen replied. The galaxy has been under the Empire's boot for too long. Today, humanity announces its presence. Tomorrow, we offer every species you've oppressed a choice: join us in building something better, or stay under your empire's rule. She paused, and Zax Thor could hear the smile in her voice. I think we both know which they'll choose. As the infinite Dominion systems failed one by one, Zax Thor realized that his empire's greatest mistake hadn't been underestimating humanity's technology. It had been underestimating their memory, their determination, and their absolute refusal to stay extinct. The humans hadn't just returned. They'd returned ready for war. And the galaxy would never be the same.